Hey guys, Technomentary with the video for you guys. In today's video, we're going to talk about the iPhone XS Max or the XS Max, which is the bigger edition of the XS, and if it's worth it buying it in 2021, what's good about it and what's bad about it, this phone going into 2021. But before we go ahead and get started, if you guys are new to our channel, we do a lot of tech news, reviews, and giveaways, so make sure to hit that subscribe button. Also, if you guys are looking to score a great deal on a pre-owned or used device and pay half the price that you would pay for a new one, make sure you guys check out the link that we'll be providing you guys in the description section. So let's go ahead and get started with today's video. So the iPhone XS Max was released in September 2018, so it's been well over 2 years since this phone has been released. It comes in multiple colors. For example, this one you see is the white edition one. There's also the gold edition one, and you have also the black edition one as well. So the iPhone XS Max here, as you can see, it's a bigger size one compared to the other one that is this is a 5.8 Super Retina OLED technology that's enabled. What makes the phone really expensive is that OLED technology display that Apple has introduced, which these phones, as you know, when it came out, started around over the 1K mark, which is pretty expensive for a smartphone, but it's Apple, so you do kind of expect that price point. So let's talk about the actual the camera, which as you know, iPhone is pretty much known for. So what has changed since the iPhone XS Max is that, on the newer phones, the 12 Pro Max, you have the triple lens camera versus the dual lens. And has that really made much of a difference? We haven't seen quite a difference between the camera here. As you see, this one has the dual 12 megapixel, of course. With the 12 Pro Max, they do have triple with that LiDAR technology, which allows for better zooming. But nonetheless, this phone pretty much competes head to head in terms of photography wise. If you're looking for a phone for photography, the iPhone XS Max still does a pretty awesome job. As you can see here, we can do a lot more with it than just the camera itself. If we talk about the battery life on this phone, it's one of the other things. With the bigger phone means bigger battery life. So how much battery life does this phone have? So this one is advertised to have 20 hours worth of battery, and if you're a normal user, not on your phone all day, it's gonna give you that 20-hour worth of battery life. If you're just using it for basic calling, browsing, using a couple of apps here and there, you're gonna get 20 hours of the battery life itself. And the other thing about the XS Max is that, as you know, it does have wireless charging. So if you put in a wireless pad here, it will start charging it, which is pretty neat, since it is one of the newer things. When this phone came out, Apple has released it with the back glass that they have. In terms of just the phone itself, it's a pretty lightweight phone. It's around 6 or 7 ounce, and it's pretty easy to hold. If you have a bigger hand, the Max, as you know, it's equivalent to the older generation of pluses. They're really much somewhat of the bigger hand. If you have a smaller hand, you might want to opt out with the XS or the XS instead of the Max version. The Max version does give you that whole vibrant experience where you're able to actually rotate the screen whenever you're playing games, like we have done with PUBG and some of the more heavy graphic intensive game, where it really does give the phone its true ability to do gaming because of the power that this phone has. It does have an A12 chip, which makes this phone phenomenal. As you can see, we're running on iOS 14. That was the most up-to-date update that it has released, and this phone most likely will get the update for at least another 2 to 3 years, no doubt, because of how this phone is meant to do. And I wouldn't be surprised if it goes for another 5 years without any issue, and most likely it will be supported at least another 3 to 4 years, depending on how Apple wants to go and take this phone. And if we talk about the software itself, if we're doing basic calling, so if you're doing mostly calling or texting, this phone does a phenomenal job to do that. You're not going to have any issues with calling or even texting. All of that stuff can be pretty much, this phone is meant to do that. None of that stuff you're going to find is going to be any challenge. Even just basic web browsing, you're able to just flawlessly browse and just do the normal thing you would do on pretty much any smartphone with the exceptional software this phone has itself. Other thing you want to look at, if you're using for morely social media such as TikTok or Facebook, Instagram, all of those apps are pretty much, runs flawlessly on this phone. Even in 2021, we don't see any sort of issues running those social media apps that everyone, is on all day. Even if you're using it for Netflix or any sort of video streaming such as Netflix, Hulu, YouTube, all of that stuff, phenomenal quality. And the max size is actually really good for that sort of stuff because you have that whole is 5.8 display, which whenever you watch something, you're on a bigger display, and that really does help with the bigger display. You'll see when you make the phone bigger, you have such a bigger real estate in terms of watching videos, which makes this phenomenal phone if you love to do a lot more watching or so on the phone here itself. And if you're looking to use it for a productivity tool, such as, if you use it to do meetings or even just Google Docs to write up documentation, view, or edit, it does a phenomenal job with that as well. There's really no lag in terms of doing productivity things on this device itself. Just a phenomenal device even in 2021. If you didn't need to upgrade, if you really didn't have the money to upgrade, if you had this 10s Max, I would say stick with this phone because this phone, you're not getting too much of an upgrade compared to the newer lineup of the 12 Pro Max series, besides just a little bit of enhancement in terms of slight increase in speed and camera. But the software itself, iPhone 12 Pro Max versus the iPhone 10s Max, they're still running the same software, and the software itself is what defines the phone itself, and it does that really well. So there you guys have it for the review of the iPhone 10s Max in 2021. Is it worth buying, or is it even worth buying or sticking to it? We definitely recommend, if you're on it, stay on it if you don't need to upgrade or if you don't have the money to upgrade. And if you're looking to buy a 10s Max because it's a bit cheaper, which you can find using the link that will provide you guys in the description section, you can get almost fraction of the cost when it came out. Hopefully this video was helpful. If this video was helpful, please make sure to hit that like button. Of course, hit that subscribe button. Thanks for watching, guys. See you guys next time.